Everyone, so this is a 2.3 raid recommendation. One of the things I've been hearing that people have had a problem with specifically were getting their cooldowns up for the Mystic nodes as you overpower it. And I think one of the problems that you may see over time is overpowering nodes. I'm going to take a quick and remove myself from the video so we can you can see some of the actions here, and we'll talk about what I'm doing so you can understand my gameplay here. Now I have a very, very powerful team, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be easily able to progress through these nodes in quick succession, because the problem you're going to face is that if you kill enemies too fast and Deathpool's passive kills the enemy, remember passives can't trigger passive, so you have to play it in a specific way. And all that means is just slowing it down just a tad, because if you annihilate the enemy and they don't get a chance, then you're going to see really quickly. So we're going to use the ult here from Cloak. That's going to take most of the players off the board, and we're going to get a couple of kills. And you can see that it's not generating energy at the end of that. Then we're going to use the ult from Dagger. Now that's going to set us up to do some quick kills. So the idea here is we want to make sure that we're not killing too many of our opponents here with an ability and having the passive kind of spiral and kill everybody down. So you'll see there's usually a low target, and then like somebody like Captain Sam blind, even with the speed up, he's not really a problem. You can use the basic from Cersei, providing it doesn't crash your devices. And then one thing that's important here is you can also use this ult and actually build it up, because you're going to need it on the boss node. Remember, you want to get to 5 for the boss node, so you're quickly able to do that. And if you look right here, we haven't eliminated the energy yet. You're going to see that she's at 3 out of 3. So we're going to go ahead and just start whittling down Bishop so he doesn't have a special to take us off the board. And then we're going to finish him off. See, if it doesn't kill Elsa, you're going to use the base to kill Elsa so everybody gets energy. Anybody who wasn't full should be getting energy over here. So we're going to go on to the next node. The next node, again, it's relatively simple. Remember, you don't have to worry about cooldowns as much when you're finishing this node off, because realistically, the beginning of that next node is going to be easy, because as long as you've got that 5 charge for Deathpool, she's going to one-shot Doom anyway. Remember, now that that's been fixed, you can one-shot him and he'll die for like anywhere between 10 and 15 million health here. So let's go ahead and start it up. So right off the bat, you're going to see that we'll have our Eternals cooldowns ready to rock and roll. So automatic turn rewind, the speed fill for the Mystics. We should be well ahead and able to just diminish this team's power up front. But here, like I said, it's not as important, except to make sure that you don't have easy death. So you can use the ult. I don't need to worry about it right now. I'm going to use it at the end over here. We're going to use the stun on a Taskmaster. Didn't land, but that doesn't matter. All those extra blinds going out are going to finish things off here. And then we want to take some important targets off the board here as quickly as possible. So heavy damage. And then there's a rewind, and so you're going to see all those cooldowns build up. She's going to go off a little bit here. Not much you can do about that. I'm not sure if you'd want to adjust for it. Okay, so 2 targets, main targets here are blind. 1 isn't. We're at 3 charges. We're going to go right for 4. We're going to take on the Merc Lieutenant. Again, he's low enough that we want to do that. We're going to go ahead and drop a slow on Ghost. Even if it doesn't land, it's not a big deal. But because you're dropping a bunch of debuffs, it's okay. But you can't drop offense down on these nodes because of the problem you have. You can actually go ahead here and ult, and it's guilt-free. And the reason why it's guilt-free is because of the fact that, again, you'll see that on the next node, you'd have 5 charges because of the way that the passive works on Deathpool. So it's still pretty quick, but you just don't want to auto it anymore in the event that you don't get your cooldowns up for the next action. Because again, I've been doing this enough times with a very powerful team that I will say that as you progress through power, you're going to see that change. So let's go take a look at the passive for Deathpool so you understand what I'm talking about, right? Hello offers. So take a look at Deathpool, and again, okay? In raids on spawn, gain +1 charged. So she'd get her 5th on that one. It didn't matter about anybody's cooldowns, because the beginning of that node is rather slow. As long as you kill Doom, you don't have to worry about the ult, and you can just build up cooldowns over and over again. So trying to balance between the eternal cooldowns and the new warrior cooldowns is relatively easy, as long as you just follow a few simple steps. Try to leave characters in a position where they're not being killed by Deathpool's passive, and that should help out a lot. Anyway, I hope this tip helps you guys out. Again, it's becoming evident that some of the problems people have is when you overpower the content, you're not able to build your cooldowns back up. And if that's something you're having, you may want to talk to your alliance about potentially moving up a notch, especially if you're all having that problem. And what I mean that is, if you're in the 2.2 raids, it might be worthwhile to start the 2.3 if you're finding that happening early enough where you can justify it. Teams that may be having that problem are usually the mutants on 2.0 and 2.1. Probably the mystics anywhere as you build them up, because as now we're getting more of the shards for dagger and for cloak. They're probably progressing quickly, and if you built your eternals up at all, you can see how that could be happening as well. And then again, planning for Deathpool's passive to do the damage is important. And I think the other node that I think, so bio isn't really a problem because they can auto it without any difficulty. Cooldowns don't really matter as much because they're actually built differently. They get energy on spawn, which helps them retain their cooldowns. So even if they're killing things too fast, they're going to be ready to go. And then obviously tech, I do think there's versions of tech that can kill too fast. And especially because of the fact that you're trying to get Doom's cooldown back up. I wish there was a way to reliably build that quickly, so that we can get through the content a little bit more reliably. And I think that's probably the overall evaluation there. So just to give you another idea of the team over here, you can see my mystics. So even with this powerful team, the 2 6 red Eternals, the Dr. Doom over here, I'm sorry, the 2 6 red Eternals, the dagger, the 6 red dagger, the 6 red G15 cloak, and the 7 red Deathpool. I'm able to kind of pull back and basically allow myself to get to the point where I'm able to get those cooldowns back up, which by no means is something that I didn't practice a little bit. So if you got, hopefully guys, you saw some of the insight on there. If you guys have any more questions about it, go in the comments. I'll try to help you with that. Again, some people are not reporting this. Some people are and asked me to make this video for you. So this is for you. And again, I do things so you don't have to, and that includes spending some energy to make sure I understood how the passive for Deathpool is working. Remember, passives don't trigger passives, and while some rules may apply, she can't, triggering her own passive to generate additional energy could just potentially spiral the whole entire node out of control and could cause a lot of havoc. See you soon.